Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video I am super excited about. It's going to be a full, in-depth discussion with DeadwoodJedi, who is kind of the clan boss expert who built a website to help you optimize your teams. It is DeadwoodJedi.com. It's an amazing resource for Raid Shadow Legends. I will link it down below. You've got to go check it out, and you've got to use it regularly if you're trying to do well in the clan boss. We are going to be discussing a post by someone who goes by Rust. I reached out to Rust and invited them to come on to the video with us. They respectfully declined, but said you're welcome to talk about my post and reference it and cover it however you wish. So I wanted to do this because this is probably the best possible non-legendary clan boss team that you can possibly build. It's capable of one keying Ultra Nightmare, and it works on all affinities. I have shied away a little bit from covering unkillable comps on my channel that take like a ridiculous amount of super specialized legendaries, or if they only work on the void affinity. But this composition deserves as much attention as possible. Rust did a great job with the post. It's very detailed. I will link down below to the Reddit post that goes over this. But this warranted a full video to get as many people knowledgeable about this composition as possible, because it is absolutely amazing. It's well designed, and it's going to be quick to auto. It takes like 10 seconds to set up, and then it's full auto. It's got no legendaries, and it is one key, two, maybe three, capable of easily getting the max clan chest on Ultra Nightmare difficulty every time. So I'm excited for this, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Alrighty, and now I am joined by Deadwood. How are you doing, sir? How was your day?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be talking to you, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah, second video with you. The first one was a lot of fun, and for those of you that don't know, I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself and tell people about your website and kind of what you do and what your niche is in the raid community.
Absolutely. So I'm the Deadwood Jedi. Basically, I do a lot of focus on clan boss and speed tuning. It's kind of my thing. I think I've been called the Neil deGrasse Tyson of speed tuning is my latest title. But I have a website, DeadwoodJedi.com, where I put together a speed calculator that I built. I put it on the website so it's accessible for everybody. It's pretty easy to use. People have been using it to explore their teams, speed tune their teams, and coming up with crazy damage numbers, one keying, two keying, all affinities, all levels. Been very helpful for people generally. I like to put out a lot of videos that kind of talk about how best to speed tune your team and how to maximize your champion's abilities, which is really what speed tuning is about. We also have a list of different speed tunes on there. So if you're looking for a specific tune, one of the famous ones like the White Whale, or one of the ones we're going to actually talk about today, it's actually on the website, and you can definitely check that out. So it makes it a lot easier for you guys to have reference points to go off of. There's a bunch of guides that I've linked on there as well. So I'm trying to make it kind of a community hub, a place where people can go for information about the game as much as possible. So that's kind of what I do, what I'm about, and what I've been doing.
Yeah, no, the website is one of the best resources created in the raid community, in my opinion. So definitely check it out. I will link to that website down below. So for sure, if you haven't been to that website, check it out. And the reason I wanted to go straight to the source, bring Deadwood on for a video, is because I saw this post on Reddit and I thought it deserved some coverage in the community. Now, it is posted by a guy who goes by Rust, and I did give him an opportunity to come on the video if he wanted, but he said, no, it's okay, you can go ahead and make a video about it, it's all good. So I'm not stealing his work or anything. He gave me permission to make this video, and I gave him an opportunity to come on if he wanted. But yeah, this post piqued my interest, and I thought it deserved coverage because there's no legendaries required, and it works on all affinities and all difficulties. So, you know, is this one of the only teams that can say that?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there are other teams that can. Well, look, this is the only team that can definitively say it is no legendaries required, and you can have a 2-key Ultra Nightmare team, no problem, affinity friendly. It is probably the most complete clan boss team in existence right now. Now, there's legendaries that you can do this same type of stuff with, but honestly, I don't think there's any team out there right now that can do as much damage as consistently as this team. It's pretty much the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I agree. From what I've seen, it definitely piqued my interest the most. So, is there, and I told you to have this post up so you could kind of scroll along. Is there anything you'd like to say just in general that you've kind of learned from talking with Russ, important keynotes to over the top to talk about before we dive into just kind of going through it?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that actually. One of the amazing things about this composition is there isn't a whole lot of requirements to making it work and work well. It is pretty much like as good as it gets here. It's really simple. You just have the only big requirement is getting to that speed and having everybody booked down on the cooldowns. But other than that, yeah, this thing's pretty. It's like one of the safer compositions I've seen. And actually, we can talk about in a little bit one of the unusual advantages of that. Things that you can do because it is so stable. It's quite a thing. It's a pretty ingenious thing that Russ came up with.
Now, if somebody only has one man-eater, is there any other option? Or if somebody has 0 man-eaters like me, he's the only epic in the game that I just cannot get. I've probably pulled like 1,000 2x voids, and I just cannot get a man-eater. So I can't build this comp, but I thought it was important enough for the community to see this and get exposed to this.
Well, I guess maybe just a little background on this composition. So this is what is being called the Batman Eater composition, or the Bat Eater composition. The Bat obviously being Seeker, and the Eaters being the Man Eaters. But this composition is built off of previous work that I've actually documented on my YouTube channel. It's Napoleon Camembert came up with another 2-1 composition called the Batman, and basically it uses Seeker as your speed boost, and then the other 4 champions, just you bring in whatever you need to bring in, but it takes you to a 2-1 ratio. And I think it uses these same speeds. I don't believe there's any difference on that. And that one he then turned into a Batman Forever composition by bringing in a Tower, Warcaster, and you could use Santa as well if you'd like. But by doing that, you make that an unkillable team as well. The only difficulty there is the affinities.
Yep.
As it's not natively affinity friendly. And then Rust, genius that he is, came up and he basically took what some of the builds that we've already used a lot. So like you said, what happens if you only have one man-eater? There's a slow man-eater Painkeeper composition out there, where basically you have, I think Cold Brew actually first documented it. It came from a Russian YouTuber, is the one that first put it out there, and then Cold Brew kind of translated it, and then everybody else has built stuff off it. Rust actually wrote a guide on that. All that's on my website too, if you want to check it out. But you can use that slow man-eater comp, and basically you have one champion going so slow that they keep the unkillable on while they take the stun. And so that is a very viable thing. So if you only have one man-eater, one Painkeeper, it's all you need. And you can, I think 3 key is probably the reasonable expectation. But you can 3 key Ultra Nightmare with basically those 2 champions and everybody else running pretty slow speeds. So that's a really affordable, budget-friendly kind of composition. I believe it is called the Budget Man-Eater composition. But with this one, it started off with Seeker and 2 unkillable champs, and then Russ brings in the Man-Eaters, and then the Painkeeper just to keep their cooldown so that they're constantly churning, and it just works like a charm. I mean, there's really nothing better than this out there right now because of that. Because the Man-Eaters bring not only the unkillable, but the block debuffs, and the Seeker speed there. So like if you don't have Man-Eater though, you can definitely do a 2-1 team with Seeker and a couple, and basically you can bring in whoever else you want. So you can make it affinity friendly, even without the Man-Eaters. It's just everything is wrapped up in this one composition, which makes it pretty remarkable.
Okay, cool. And I noticed when I scroll down to the speeds, there's a question mark. That means it's just kind of whoever you want to fill in. The Seeker, Man-Eater, Painkeeper, and then whoever your best DPSer is, I'm assuming.
Exactly. Obviously, the preeminent choice is Draco because he
Okay,
brings
yep.
the decreased defense and weaken as well as poisons as well as hits hard. So like that's how, if you want a 1-key Ultra Nightmare, you bring in Draco. But it's been used to really good effect with Venus. So if you just pulled the Venus, congratulations.
Yeah.
You can get pretty close to 1-key with her. But I know you can 2-key this with like Rosin, for example.
Yeah, and he's a legendary fusion, so yeah. Yep.
Exactly. You don't even need poisoned, and you can, and frankly, you can bring in, another epic champion, and you'll for sure be able to 3-key, and very likely have a good chance at 2-keying anyway. So like, there's tons of ways to really make this kind of composition work for you. The only drawback is 4 of the slots are filled. Like, you have to have 4 specific champions to make it work. But if you have them, you're set. But that is the only drawback, is you only have 1 DPS slot. So that's the only negative to this one.
And what would you say would be like the top 5 non-legendary DPSers to slot in there? That just off the top of your head, like kind of great non-legendary options as that 5th slot.
Dear God. Okay. All right. Non-legendary options. Well,
I put you on the spot here, didn't I?
You really did. You really did. Well, a little prep for this wouldn't hurt,
We're off the cuff here. We're off the cuff here.
Right. Well, actually, I can actually give you a couple ideas. I think something that somebody that maybe people aren't thinking about but would work fabulously for this is Whisper. I think she would be phenomenal in this.
Okay.
One of the unique things about this composition, there's no speed buffs. So you don't have to worry about any well, actually, shoot, Whisper might not. So I think Whisper would work. Actually, yeah, Whisper would work great because the managers are putting the unkillable at the end of the turns, and so it's refreshing every time. So you can use stuff like Relentless Gear. You can get those extra turns proccing. That she would be, I think, phenomenal for this. She puts on a weaken, so you're only missing the decreased defense. I think that would be a really good option for you. Obviously, any poisoner would be good. And
AFR, yeah.
AFR would be great. Juliana, you need to be careful with because of that turn meter increase. Yep. I am pretty sure you could get her to work in this composition, but it would be you'd have to like fiddle a little bit with the speeds, I think, to make it work. But she should be able to fly in this one as well. I think, gosh, who else would be really good for this? Who actually might be pretty good for this is Bulwark, honestly. Bring the HP burn and the weaken ability. I would not be surprised if he would actually be pretty decent. But Zargala would be great, bringing in decreased defense and weaken. That's
a brawler.
Occult Brawler would be fabulous, of course. Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you're relying more on the poisons at that point.
Yeah.
And one of the strengths I think people maybe don't realize is with the 2-1 compositions, when you're going this fast, you're getting this many turns, one of the strengths of it is actually the individual hits that you're getting with your champions.
Yep.
So a lot of times, the poison is going to be great. If you can get poisons up on fully across for 50 turns.
So Frozen Banshee, Occult Brawler, yep. Okay.
Absolutely. Aethar would be another great one. Even a Kale would be nice. That's why Juliana, I think, would be really good. But with this kind of composition, being able to do straight damage is super effective too. So if you can get a decreased defense and a weaken buff up, that's a really good option, I think, for making this kind of thing work for you. So there's more than a couple of pretty good epic champions that could really make this composition fly, I think.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And then one huge thing that I like about this comp in particular, besides the all affinity thing and the no legendaries required thing, is the how soon you can auto. Like, I'm not really into building comps where I got to auto for 12 turns to set it up. Because I don't want to spend 45 minutes a day on the clan boss, like playing it manually. So I'm all about, autoing as quick as I can. Did you want to touch on that aspect of this comp at all?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're absolutely right. That is probably It's one of the side benefits that you probably don't think about right away. But the fact is it takes like it takes like 2 or 3 moves to get yourself into your cycle, which is pretty remarkable. Because most advanced, really fast speed tunes like this, they take a little bit of time to really set into it. But this one's freaking simple. I mean,
Yeah, I love that.
what do? You do Mankeeper, the first Mankeeper, the fast one, you do his unkillable right off the bat. Then you do Seeker's increase turn meter boost after that. And then you do Painkeeper's, recharge, reduce cooldowns. And then for the second mana, you just do an A1 hit. And after that, you can click auto and it works. Like literally all on the first turn. That's unheard of for a speed team like this. That's a really unusual thing to be able to do. There's almost no setup to it. So you take 30 seconds and then boom, you're in it. There's lots of reasons why this is easily the best composition out there right now. I mean, I'm not saying it's the most damage dealing, but it is pretty close to that. You can one key Ultra Nightmare, Nightmare, and Brutal with this comp, and you can click auto almost immediately. It's quite an achievement. I'm proud to have contributed anything to this. But Rust and Napoleon coming up with these kind of this machination of champions is just really incredible. And the fact that you don't need a legendary to run it, that is pretty phenomenal, I think. So it's
I've shied away from making too many specialized clan boss videos because it doesn't appeal to a general enough player in my viewer base. But this one, I thought I need to get as many people to know about this as possible. Because admittedly, it is going to be tough to get 2 man-eaters. They're void epics. But this is realistic. More realistic. You don't need a Roshard who's a legendary. You don't need a specific legendary. At least it's epic, and it's all affinities. It's quick to auto, like 10 seconds, and you can auto. So I thought this one is a very generally useful comp for people out there to know about.
You're 100% right. I mean, of all the compositions that exist, the Man-Eater Painkeeper combination is the easiest for anybody to achieve. Granted, you have to get your Painkeeper and you have to get your Man-Eater, but it's one epic and one rare. If you can achieve that, then you definitely have the skill. You have the team. You already have the team to do a 3-key on Ultra Nightmare. At least on Nightmare, maybe you're missing a little DPS or the right gear to really up the damage, but you can compete at any level of the game with that. And then this one, it takes that to a whole nother level. I mean, the fact that, 1 rare and 3 epic champions, and you can have a team that is good enough to go from Brutal all the way to Ultra Nightmare 1 key. I mean, that's a crazy range, right? From Brutal, if you have these champions, you can build this team to work on Brutal Clan Boss, and then just continue to slightly improve it until you're able to 1 key Ultra Nightmare. That's insane to be able to do that, and it's really well done as far as building. If you're trying to just kind of slowly grow your team, and you have these champions. It's a wonderful composition. You should definitely be going towards it. I'm not even a fan of these unkillable compositions, and I have to say, if I had a second Man-Eater, I would be doing this. That's holding me back. But I mean, why wouldn't I? It is such a powerful composition, and the best part is it frees up your champions for other areas of the game. So you don't have to have. You can actually build your Valkyrie for arena now. What I mean?
That's a great overlooked point because I have a champion I want to use in the clan boss. You can't bring somebody into the arena at 171 speed. So you're right.
Yep.
That's a very undersold point that people don't bring up enough.
I mean, we also have to be real about this. The biggest bar to this composition is the speeds.
Yeah.
You have to have enough gear to get the speeds so that they're effective in this composition.
Mm-hmm.
But the benefit is those speeds are then effective everywhere. If you have a 265 Man-Eater, yeah, you can use him in arena. That's faster than most of my. I've one champion faster than that on my team.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a very effective man eater. A lot of people don't like using Draco for clan boss because then they're too slow to be used in dungeons. Well, this Draco's going 221. You know, I don't think you're gonna have any problems using Draco in your dungeons with that.
Yeah.
So it really works well. The speed is absolutely the biggest bar, but you don't have to build for survivability, so you can really focus in on that.
Yeah.
You know, because you're unkillable right from the get-go. So that's another, you know, added benefit to it. Really, is that it doesn't take a whole, like, all you got to do is find the speed. It doesn't have to be good gear. It doesn't have to be the right gear. You can put flat stats, resistance, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as you get the speeds up to the right spot, you'll be able to compete.
Yeah, no, and I'll make sure and link to this down below so that people can pull this up themselves, and definitely link to your website so that people can read the in-depth guides you have on there. There's lots of really good resources on there. And yeah, I won't take too much of your time. I wanted to have a general discussion about this, and I'll give you a chance to kind of say goodbye and wrap things up here.
Absolutely. Just before I do that, I just want to point out, like, if you guys have the opportunity to, I don't care whether you can do this composition or not, take the time to read that Reddit post by Russ. I'm going to put it on my website so you guys can check it out. You can also check out his budget Maneater Painkeeper. That's also on the website. But he put in a lot of time and effort. This is one of the best written, I guess you'd call it guideposts I've ever seen. He does a really, really good job with that. You should hit him up. I know he's helping people work on their teams and stuff. So he's definitely a great resource out there for the community. He's actually the guy that was helping me do my thumbnails when I first started doing YouTube.
Oh, nice.
Kind of gave me my template for it all. So, like, he's a super awesome guy, really, really giving. And, like, I know he put this together because he loves the game and he loves playing. And same thing with the post. He's not looking for, you know, for fame and accolades. He just likes playing and wants to, you know, help out people. So really awesome dude. Should definitely check him out. But yeah, if you guys have time, come by my website, DeadwoodJedi.com. It's as simple as it gets. It's just my name with a .com at the end. But there's lots of resources there for you. If you're having any issues with Clan Boss, or you just wanted to do a little bit better, it's a great spot to go. A lot of us, as we get towards the end of the game, we're trying to find new things and different ways to play our teams. So the calculator is a great guide and a great way to do that. Maybe you're a new player or mid-game and you're looking like, who can I get in this next 2 times event, for example? What if I get a Crisp? What if I get a Siffy? The calculator is a great way to play with that and, like, have a little fantasy session. I used to do that all the time. Imagine what happens if I got this champion. How would my team look? And you can actually plug in the speeds and kind of figure that out for yourself. So there's a lot of good resources on there. I linked to a lot of the videos that the other YouTubers like Chosen put out there. So lots of resources and ways to get in touch with you know, people that are really active in the community. So hopefully I see you guys in there. But Chosen, thank you so much for having me on again. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Super dude. Really can't wait for the next time.
Yeah, definitely. This is the second video, and I'm sure here in a few weeks or a month or two, I'll have you on again. It's always a good time to catch up and do a deep dive into the clan boss. I always say it's probably the most important area of the game, the daily rewards, the shards, the books. So definitely a huge value to what your website is providing, and also Rust on putting in the time to make a detailed post like this. So I'm happy to do my part in covering it to make sure as many people know about it as possible. So yeah, thanks for joining me, and have a good day, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. You too.
All right, see ya.
All right.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for this video. Massive shout out to Rust for the detailed post that I will link down below, and also to DeadwoodJedi for taking time out of his day to sit down with me and have a full discussion about this composition. Make sure you visit DeadwoodJedi.com. I will link to that below, and also Deadwood Jedi's YouTube channel, and I will link to the post by Rust, so you can find everything that we talked about in this video down below. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.